Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
The return of Tech News Weekly after a 2-week hiatus, gentlemen.
Wow.
It was 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, just about.
It feels like we haven't done any shows this month, but we're back. I'm Andrew Zarian, joined by Tom, the very cold Rex.
Yes. I'm toasty warm, but it's from fever, not from actual temperature.
Yeah, and of course, Sunkast. Wow, what are you wearing?
Wait. Hold on. There we go.
You know, I really think he's lost his mind, right? Tom, do you agree?
Yeah, it's yeah. We saw it coming. He's tipped. He's tipped over the edge.
He just tipped over the edge. He just
Tipped it.
I knew there was something funny when I heard that laugh, but like he would always like teeter back and forth, and then he just totally dived off the
I think
cliff.
Speed Racer was the cry for help.
It was.
We should have acknowledged that, and done an intervention, but we let it go. Thought it was a phase.
Yeah, I thought it was a phase
Don't
where
you want some of this?
Yeah.
he's lost his mind.
Yeah.
Raging lunatic. That's all I hire here at the network, just raging lunatics. But I really want to go into Sunkast's sanity. But before we do that, we need to thank a sponsor, and that's, of course, GoDaddy.com. It's starting at less than $5 a month, gentlemen. You could get web hosting from GoDaddy.com. I actually just bought, and you both saw. How many domains did I just buy today?
10.
About 10 domains.
Yeah, which brings your grand total up into a number I won't disclose.
You could
but
say
yeah,
it.
A lot.
You could say it. I
More
have
than
50.
me.
I have
I used
50
to-
domains.
Yeah. I
Well,
used to have you beat, but now you've surpassed me.
Well, I have to kind of protect myself and
domain
get a
slut.
lot of these. I am, yeah. I get everything. Everything that comes to mind, I get. And
AndrewTheWhore.com.
AndrewTheWhore.com, GaggleAgaze.com. I bought. I'm not going to disclose what I bought today, but I bought a bunch of domains. And GoDaddy makes it easy. Listen, I got, I believe, 11 or 12 domains, and with all the coupon codes, it came to about like $70, and I got a big discount on it because they give you a bunch of promotions and a bunch of discounts, and if you go there right now, you could get 10% off your entire purchase. And of course, I use promo code WTT3 every time I check out at GoDaddy. Even though it's my promo code, I still use it. That's GoDaddy.com. So it's been a very busy week for tech. I just want to give a little update.
My goodness.
We set up our YouTube page, our YouTube partner page. So if you go to youtube.com/guys from Queens, you're going to see we have a banner. We have a different background. We did a lot of work on this page, and it's starting to look really good. It's actually interesting. And now we opt in, actually. I could put in if I want this video to have ads on it or if I don't want it to have ads. So that's a really cool feature.
That's cool.
Also, Google is sending me my Google TV. After I bashed the product.
Did you not? Because I thought when we discussed on Wednesday what the tech, it was going to be like overnight.
It was,
it not?
yeah. I don't know why it wasn't overnight. I guess Logitech had an issue shipping it, or it was something. So I
It's
just got the
Christmas,
tracking.
so gotta cut him some slack.
Yeah. So if I
Yeah, no
look here,
kidding.
it
Don't
says I should be receiving it tomorrow. No, package shipped to shipping billing. It's not telling me estimated, actually. It just says next day error.
Huh.
So hopefully tomorrow I'll receive the Google TV and I could do a review of it.
Not if it's not Saturday delivery. You won't get it next day. It'll be next business day.
Yeah.
So Monday.
But let's go into some stories, guys.
Yeah, we got plenty to cover this.
I'll take
this
the
week.
first one, and Tom is familiar with this. Big Yahoo story. Yahoo's close to more. Yahoo to close more services after 600 layoffs. Is this the beginning of the end? Well, the beginning of the end started a while ago, but is this the nail in the coffin for Yahoo? We've seen a bunch of services shut down from Yahoo. They were going to sell to Microsoft at one point, and it never happened. They're still mulling over a takeover offer from Microsoft. What was the offer for? It was last year, and it was for $33 per share, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And now the shares are at about $16 on the market. So it's not a good sign for
been
Yahoo.
Struggling for years now.
Yeah, and it's a shame because they have, it's a great service and a lot of people liked it, but I just feel they didn't, Google just buried them and they weren't able to compete. Tom, what do you think of this? Because you're a Yahoo fan.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're a cautionary tale, and we've covered a lot on What the Tech of somebody who yesteryear was a giant that could never be overtaken like AOL and so forth. And look at them now; they're struggling and dying, or at least facets of them are. But anybody who's the Apple, Google, whatever the greatest new thing is fan, Yahoo a decade ago couldn't be beat in theory. Ask.com came and went. Yahoo was still standing. Yahoo Search
Lycos.
Yeah, everybody. AltaVista. Well, AltaVista's part of them now, but at the time they were not.
Yeah, they just said that they were going to shut down AltaVista today.
Oh,
yeah.
They're shutting down too. Okay.
Yeah.
Buzz is the biggest surprise on that list to me. Delicious is the most vocal and pissed off, I think. But people don't realize when they're looking at various sites on the web, large companies like Yahoo and AOL own these little things like Buzz and everything that you're seeing.
Well, that's been the transition.
Sites.
That's been a transition for AOL over the last couple of years. They kind of rebranded themselves and really changed the company over rather than a broadband provider or an internet service provider.
Yeah.
They become a media provider where they have all these blogs are owned by them. Engadget and a ton of them is owned by AOL.
That was a very smart move for them to do something
Absolutely,
like that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that means that they're actually going to exist for a while yet.
Yeah, and it's like an undercover thing because the AOL brand isn't known as a blog, but they own Engadget, they own TechCrunch, Joystick, Switched, and I'm just going through the list. I mean, they own a ton of these companies.
Listen, you don't want to have AOL out in front for you saying we're an AOL company or like that, just from the premise that people were so disgusted by AOL's tactics with all their CDs and their downfall.
I think their downfall wasn't their tactics. I think their downfall was not transitioning into broadband.
Yeah.
That was their downfall. But what would you consider? What would you give credit for Yahoo's downfall, Tom? What would you say was the downfall for them? Because if you look at it, they did everything right.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I don't know if they did or not. And Google's doing it, following the exact same model. They're absorbing all these startups and weaker companies. They're absorbing them rather than compete, and they'd blow them out of the water. But it's easier just, okay, well, I'll offer you, $100 million for your little web company. Then we don't have to worry about you anymore. So Yahoo owns all these properties like Delicious that stood on their own, and I think they took more on their plate than they could consume, or that the clients, customers, users could perpetuate. And now they're sitting there with all this stuff and they have no consumers. So Google's doing it right now, and in 5 years, all the people who think Google's bulletproof, 5 years we'll see if they are.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I give credit for the downfall of Yahoo was the fact that they decided they're going to become this media empire, and they just spread themselves too thin by purchasing so many web properties. They bought all these companies, and then they mishandled everybody.
It's
and they
almost
didn't
like
do
a
anything.
supply and demand issue almost.
Sure, but when you search, when you guys search, would you use Yahoo? I mean, I feel that the Yahoo search engine is not as intelligent as Google's is, and that
Right.
really is what they are.
No, it's like this. Yahoo is supplying all these services and content, but the demand for their service and content is not there. The demand is actually more loyal to other services and content providers than they are Yahoo.
I just feel like the search engine is what was lacking. Now they're using Bing's search engine, which is a little bit better. But I mean, for years, wouldn't you guys say that Microsoft followed the same kind of model to fail? They were almost nearly. I mean, MSN was dead. Live was dead. Bing came up and they did really good promotion with Bing. They changed Live and they changed MSN, and they kind of are becoming it's almost like an up and coming company where they're doing well again. They've started all over because they changed their entire model, and it seemed like Yahoo was not able to do that in time.
It's funny. There's so many companies now where they're big companies, but they go through generations and problem generations where at one point there's maybe a small company, they become big, they become very dominant, kind of like Google or Yahoo or Microsoft, but then during their dominance, they have a period, a generation where they're not so competitive with the other people out there that provide the same services, and so they begin a spiral downward where they're not able to compete and generate the revenue that they're looking for. Research in Motion, which makes BlackBerry, is another one of those companies right now where they're a huge dominant, but right now they're really not. They're not able to compete.
I'll give you an
with,
example.
Other stuff that's out there.
I'll give you guys an example, and I know Tom is a big fan of Bing. I'll tell you why I feel that Bing is nowhere near Google's level at this point. When you use, the Yahoo search, which is powered by Bing, on the second page, when you put in Guys from Queens, the second story that comes up is the N-word from Queens.
N-word from Queens?
Well, it's the actual word. I'm just saying because I won't say that word, but that's what comes up in the search when I put in Guys from Queens.
Oh, that's not good.
Now, do you think that in Google, by the way, if I put it in Google, it's a lot more accurate than in Bing or Yahoo. Why is it that Google has been able to have a accurate search engine compared to what Yahoo was doing and what Bing is doing now? Tom, I know you know a lot about the search engines. You want to take this?
Yeah, I was just doing a test of my own. I did a search for RIM stock because actually RIM had they had above projected earnings reported today. So they actually were above market, and Sunkast is just remind me to look that in. So I typed in RIM stock into Bing, and the very first hit I got was RIM shares up on earnings, which is what I thought I would see. When I typed it into Google, I got RIM, Summary for Research in Motion, Limited, Yahoo Finance. It has nothing to do with RIM stock as far as the relevance of today's news. So then I had to filter my search further to get to the actual what I thought I was going to find, which was the stock reports. So I think it's hit and miss. I mean, Guys from Queens, I wish it was the number one hit, but
it is the number one hit, but it's when you look in the search, we're number one, but there's a lot of mixed stuff in there also.
Yeah, I mean, any of the algorithms for it, and I mean, they can be very varied. I don't know Bing's, but Yahoo's, Yahoo, they were always the favorite. Well, back in the day, they were the favorite. Yeah.
That's
when
what
Google
I used.
Came along, but I never liked them. I went with Lycos. That was my favorite back in the 90s or whatever. Wow, when everybody was doing Yahoo and then Ask. Never, it was like anything but Yahoo. I never liked it, but that was the search engine. And then Google came along and beat everybody in it. So Yahoo, like everybody else, had to find some other revenue stream, and then they branched out.
Who is Lycos powered by the way? Do you guys know?
I can't remember.
Because it's not their own anymore, right?
No.
They actually absorbed one of the websites that I used to go to a lot called Tripod.
Because it's not that bad. I just put in Guys from Queens, and it's really accurate on Lycos. Yeah. So it's not that bad. It just, Shovio comes up. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
it's a little bit bad, but I
mean, the whole algorithm of Google was they had this genius idea of how to do their search results, and they sent out they wrote scripts that run out and ping and look for information and updates on all the major sites like CNN, ABC, any major news outlets. The constant, like what's being updated. So when you looked up like hurricane, it got new stuff, whereas Yahoo was still, hurricane of 1962. The algorithm that Yahoo and everybody was using was really old, and Google was using this brilliant peer-to-peer method, and it took a while for people to figure out what they were doing, but all the sites like ABC and CNN and all these guys, they noticed that they were getting all these, just every 5 minutes hits from particular IPs, and at first they thought they were getting, attacked or hacked or spoofed or whatever, but it was Google anonymously, Serge and them wrote a script that would just go out and ping these sites, and that's the brilliance of Google's algorithm, and it's still top. So Bing has done similar, and everybody else is now copying it, but Bing has, I think they do the imaging and video searches really well.
I think they do that, yeah. Imaging and video is great on Bing.
To the point where Google, a few months ago, switched their imaging results to I won't say they copy it, but it's more like Bing than it was a year ago. But yeah, I mean, I don't, I don't blame anybody for still using Google as their main search. But personally, on all my machines, I switched it to Bing because it seems to fit what I'm looking for in a result. And if it doesn't, then I go to Google, and that's the beauty of having options and choices. So.
You know what's interesting? I really wonder how they do the image algorithm, because I put in the Andrew Zarian. I'll give you an example. I'm doing something really wrong here because Andrew Zarian, everybody except for me comes up for Andrew Zarian. Even a girl named Isabel in the Nun Union. Chauncey comes up. Leslie comes up. Random people come up. Tom comes up, except for me. The comedy
I did it in Bing,
podcast.
and the very first thing that came up is the GFQ logo, the old one, Guys from Queens.
The comedy poop podcast.
And the second hit is your droid video.
Yeah.
Well, a picture from your droid, a still image, a JPEG. And
I gotta
then
do
fourth,
something here.
What the Tech.
I got to do something here. Maybe
third
it's
is
me.
Shovio. So you've got the top 4. There's Leslie at number 5.
Yeah, but I want it to be all pictures of me. I don't want it to be anybody else.
On Google?
On everything. I want everything to
Bing.
just be
I'm
me.
looking on Bing.
I just went to Google and all I see is you.
Tom Rex. Let's put him in.
There's number 9 or 10. 11 is you with John and Joe.
No, I want good pictures of just me. You're not
There's you,
understanding.
number 15, your spiky hair.
No,
that
I
Carla did.
want high res images of me.
There I am at 18. A still of.
I don't want to hear about you guys. I want to hear about me.
And it's recent because it
Yeah.
has the monitor in the background with What the Tech running.
It's interesting how they do it.
I'm very happy with this. My image appears before yours.
Yeah.
When I look up Andrew Zarian, I beat you. That's awesome.
See, that's another reason why I like Google over Bing, because I put in Andrew Zarian on Google. It tells me what I want. It shows me what I want.
By the way,
Bing,
guys, did you?
got a chance.
I just want to say, did you guys see what my very close friend Paul Thurrott wrote on my Facebook?
What did he write?
Did you see that, Tom?
Yes.
You're the effing man. And if Paul Thurrott says so, it has to be true. You know when, like, in a book, when it's like a really bad movie or like a really bad book, and then they grab they misquote people, like they take quotes that were like half-assed, like halfway through, they would have said like it was a great movie except for the fact that it sucked. Like they would probably take like it was a great movie. For everything now, I'm gonna put down Steppin' Out Magazine claims the king of new media, and I'm gonna use Paul Thurrott, and I'm gonna say you're the effing man. I'm gonna use that quote now constantly everywhere.
Yeah.
You
Well,
may
I'm gonna
remember
put
me
on,
from the
after my
quote.
signature, I'm going to put as mentioned in Stepping Out Magazine.
As mentioned in Steppin' Out Magazine, as mentioned
As
on
seen
Steppin'
on
Out
the
Magazine,
internet.
as being on the Andrew Zarian show.
As briefly mentioned in one sentence.
No, you're in two. You're in two. You're on the Andrew Zarian show, and that you're the program director.
That's awesome.
So I made sure everybody got credit. One thing I'm a little upset about, and we'll get to the news. Chauncey was supposed to put that Spencer was a mentor to me. Getting started, and he told me, how to deal with people in the industry because they were just jerks to me. And he didn't put that in. So everybody got a thank you except for him.
Oh, that's a shame.
So,
I did Sunkast in Bing, and first hit is Sunkast with the C, assuming I misspelled it, but second is Sunkast website, so that's not bad.
Interesting. So this is fascinating. I mean, do you see this as Yahoo, possibly getting bought out? I know there's been rumors that Facebook wants to get into the search market. Can you see a Facebook coming in and sweeping them up and using them in their,
I can't imagine Facebook wants them, even though Facebook
they wanna
raked in $2 billion this year, like double of last year. And if you're doubling annually, holy crap, wouldn't we all like that? But
Yeah, Yahoo right now is just in survival mode, I think.
Yeah, and they are ripe to be taken by Microsoft, and they should. Somebody other than I consider Facebook a contender for Google, and I know that's night and day for a lot of people who think of Google as a search engine company, but Google owns everything like YouTube and all that, and Facebook. I'm sure Mark would like to extend his time of the man of the year Time Magazine clutches into a lot of different realms.
I mean, that's quite an accomplishment for this guy. He's my age.
Yeah.
He's 26, 27 years old.
Everywhere.
And I have to say, this guy, it has to be, regardless of what you think of him, I mean, he should be an inspiration to anybody that's entering this this media because he's been able to create something out of nothing. The guy's a genius, and he knew what he was doing. I mean, Facebook has been good since the beginning. It wasn't like, well, it sucked and nobody was using it, and then they did this.
The greatest
it's
thing
been
I
good.
think they ever did was that they opened it up to everybody and not just college students.
Well, I think the smartest thing they did was not opening up to everybody, because we're talking about when at the time it was MySpace and them, and MySpace was a joke, and it was overrun by clowns, and Facebook was a sophisticated thing. So it was almost a privilege to be part of Facebook. And when they opened it up, it kind of brought in a different group of people. The biggest complaint I hear from kids is that, oh, you can't customize Facebook. Well, that's the greatest part about it, because I'm not going to have a seizure every time I go to somebody's page.
Yeah, sparkling dancing butterfly crap.
Yeah,
oh,
so
I hated that. It was an abuse of the web. It was like
Oh, it really was.
it
was
2.0.
and that was the smartest thing Facebook did by keeping it closed and keeping it very tight niched, and they were able to build the website and to make it a very elite group. And now Facebook is the site to be.
Do you think that they would have remained and stayed dominant if they had still left it closed only to college students, or
They would have still made a ton of money, but nothing like what it is now. I feel that they had to open it up eventually, but for the beginning, I think it was a really smart move, because it made you feel like you're part of this elite group of people.
Yeah, see, I think that's smart in the fact that they'll have a smaller control base to work out all their stuff beforehand before they actually go hugely public with it.
I mean,
like they
MySpace
are
was
now.
MySpace was crushing Facebook at one time, and look what happened.
Yeah. And
But that was go ahead.
I was gonna say, one of the main contenders people even forget about now that still exists was Reunion.com, and Facebook is really a stripped down light free version of Reunion.com. It's a place to interact with people, current or past, but it made it so easy by tapping into, like my high school. You can type in where you went to high school or even just the year, and by zip code it'll narrow it down. Reunion.com tried that, but then they charged you.
Yeah.
You could get like a 30, 60, 90-day account. It was just always charging you. Oh, somebody wants to contact you, pay us $20, we'll tell you who. They did away with that crap. And
well, they have to, because people are realizing that pay model doesn't work on the internet, and that's. I had a meeting a couple of months ago with a broadcaster that was going online, and they were looking to. They were just picking my brain for some stuff, and I gave them some info, but they wanted to go online, and they wanted to make it a pay service where you pay to watch them do the show, and that model fails. And in my article on Stepping Out, which you could get, I talk about that, and I say how the pay model does not work online. Nobody wants to pay to get your content, because guess what? If 1,000 people pay, there's going to be 5,000 that download it for free somehow.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
that's
going
the
to
same thing
lose
as
money
piracy today, where you can easily download an MP3 for free versus paying $1 to buy it. I mean, you'll still make money, but there's still going to be hundreds and thousands of people that are able to download it for free.
Well, and that was the part, I keep telling people, they go, well, how do you make money with what you're doing? Everything you're doing is free. I'm like, well, yes, it's free, but I have ads on my videos. If you re-download the video, I have an ad. I have a live read. I have sponsors. You build your market, you build the community, and then you could capitalize on that because they're worth something. Yeah. Every one of our viewers is worth a value. It has a value. If it's, a penny, if each viewer is worth a penny, and in the end I have 1 million viewers, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, except for
and that's how you do it.
Some of the people.
Like Zud would be a 0.5, and Red Troll would be 5 cents. So in the end, it averages to a penny. But I mean, it's interesting how it works. Advertising is key, and where we're headed now, if it's done in a tasteful way, people will embrace the ads. If it's done in a way where you're spending 30 seconds looking at an ad, and Hulu has suffered because of this, you're not going to be able to keep people happy. I mean, that Hulu Plus model failed because, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinions, it was a pay service for $10 a month, and plus you still have to sit through the ad. So what the hell are you getting? Extra content? Well, I don't care for the content.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that different from the free version of Hulu where you sit ads. It wasn't different enough, probably. So,
and then that's the same thing as the paywalls that we see a lot of news companies and online bloggers try to do today, where they want you to pay for articles. But part of the problem is we're so used to this content being free already.
Yeah. And it's, remember, everything is aggregated. So whatever you're getting, let's say, on Engadget isn't necessarily from Engadget. It's not their original words. They're taken and they're reposting it.
Right. I mean,
it's not original content.
People want information for free, and we're so used to the internet being a free society where we don't necessarily pay for the majority of the content that we enjoy and consume.
Well, look at this, okay? YouTube is in talks to buy Next New Networks. And they're making a huge deal out of this, that they're buying Next New Networks. Do you know what Next New is?
I've never heard of them before.
Next New is it's like almost like a Revision 3, let's say. I'm going to Google them right now so I do justice by this.
They're New York based, so I wondered if you knew.
I do know them. Yeah, I do know them. They are the guys that do the auto-tune the news.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so,
we know that one.
Yeah, so, and then you could put content on there. So they have a number of shows on there. So they have The Hungry Nation, Indie Mogul, Channel Federation. So they have a bunch of stuff on there. And they're part of the network. So you become part of this next new network. And obviously they're getting a number of hits and they're doing well enough for YouTube to go and purchase this. But YouTube is interested in this live television, live internet TV network. They are looking to do this. Yeah,
they want to increase their, as we just mentioned, Hulu. They want to increase their competitive edge with Hulu, with replayed content, I'll say syndicated, as well as the live streaming, which Stickam, Justin, Ustream, they're all doing. They want it all. They don't. They want to get away from the only, my dog playing in the backyard video. They want to be your one-stop shop for all, media.
Yeah.
So that's a logical move for their market model. And we say YouTube, and I want to rewind a little bit, and it's Google. This isn't just YouTube, this little company. This is Google. And their daughter is YouTube. So
yeah, which I had spoken to them a couple times, the Next New people, but it is interesting. And what does that mean for someone like me? Is that a good sign for someone like me that a Google come and say, oh, listen, you're cheap, I could afford you. Here's $500,000, which is nothing for Google. Here, we'll buy the content, we'll buy you guys out. You'll become a Google company, and you do everything the way you're doing it now.
I think that's great because,
that's what I was saying about you, Yahoo. Is that if that happens too much, eventually your pockets are empty and you've got all this stuff you can't manage, and you're broke one day. But that there's a danger to that. You can absorb these companies, pay people off, and absorb them so they're not a threat, and then someday you have to cash that check. And
well, one of the things that YouTube has shown us is that internet users have an insatiable appetite for content and videos. You can put out the crappiest video out there, people will still watch it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's actually kind of what we're doing, what they do, but not live. And I sometimes wonder, maybe we're wrong into what we're doing, and maybe we shouldn't be live. It
feels wrong.
It does feel wrong being live. It does.
I feel very wrong.
Really wrong. But, I mean, nobody's doing live content. Why aren't people doing live content? Is the technology not there? I think the truth is the advertisers aren't there. And people don't want to sit here and do hours and hours of work and for 3-4 years and to say, okay, in 4 years, I can make money.
There's several factors, I think, that go into why somebody doesn't do something, especially as big as
maybe
what
I'm
we're
just
doing now.
Either A, I'm totally ahead of the game, or I'm a raging lunatic. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Well, one of it is, of course,
that I'm a lunatic.
Just the money to start doing something like what we're doing. We know that you've spent a good share of money starting the company that we are used to today.
Well over $10,000. I mean, I lost count at 10,000.
And the average person, I don't think, has $10,000 to start in doing what we're doing. They simply don't. They don't want to invest $10,000 for pocket change.
Yep. And I know people that maybe they have some good hardware, and I won't mention a name that recently kind of went under. Some of those guys has really good hardware, really nice cameras and computers to drive that signal. but I know some people with those resources, but they're not doing it because they don't like being raw and without post processing.
Yeah.
There's it scares the crap out of them.
You can finesse it a little bit more in post processing.
But see, I don't care about post processing because you know what? If I'm not doing the quality of content that I should be doing live, I shouldn't be doing it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Sunkast knows better than anybody. There's programs you can written. I am notoriously bad. I say all the time.
And I say so, and I say so constantly. I say so. That's how I move on. But
so you have programs that you can strip out the pauses and the whatever Sunkast good details of breaks.
Myself,
and clean it up and be all pretty and professional. You can add bass to your voice, which you can get with having to have a cold like I do right now. But you do all that in post. Then a week later they're ready to release it. And so the people that I know, they won't do live because of that. It's imperfect, and they want to be as polished as they can, and they won't accept anything less. And I tease them. They're chicken. If you got the content, then it shouldn't matter if you're post or live.
I think what it is you can finesse anybody to be great in a video given time and post processing, but if you can hack it live, that's just going to make you 10 times better than you really are. If you can do it live, you can do it recorded, and you can do anything you want.
I think the fact that what's interesting about the internet is that the people are very forgiving about what you do and how you sound and what you're doing, because it's this raw type cut where people understand that, hey, listen, it's not $100,000 set and he's not an actor.
Yeah.
You're an actual person, and they could relate to you, so they feel, and this is how I feel. They feel forgiving when you make an and a bum and a blip and a this, but they also like to see the back end stuff.
You're not a TV network where we're used to everything being completely
and you lose. And I'll tell you something:
polished.
you lose that connection with the audience when you're that clean cut. If I turn on the camera, if I went black. And then let's say I go black and I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't do any talking to the audience, and I just stand like this and I go, "Oh, hey everyone, we're here," and I start the show. I guarantee you, majority of the audience will not feel the connection that they feel with us now.
Yeah.
Because they're not involved.
Engaging them.
You're not engaging them. It just you turn the camera on. Here's the show. Okay, goodbye everyone, and then that's it. You leave. And that's the wrong model.
Yeah.
For some people, it'll work.
And one of the things that we're getting more accustomed these days is access to the people that we see on TV, getting to know them, especially now that a lot of these celebrities actually have Twitter accounts. So we're more used to having access to the people that we hold up as celebrities.
It's a totally different beast than what you see on television or even on radio.
I think you can provide into somebody's life that people perceive as interesting, the more successful you'll be.
Yeah, and no, I interesting, yes, and I feel that you need to be genuine. You can't be this. You can't put on a face and go on the camera, then close it and take it off.
Right.
You have to be who you are. You can't go on because they could see right through it.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
For better or worse, exactly. Yeah.
We don't put any post processing on me or whatever. And my UK friends think I have a high voice when I have a cold. But yeah, I mean, I could mess with it with the mixer, or you could do it in post, and we could put it up pretty that way. But it's not as real, I think. So I'm not sure how we got on this tangent. I'm sure I started it.
Yeah, I mean, listen. By the way, I'm really blonde. I'm not a brunette. That's the
right.
truth.
Yes.
Why don't we go into this? This was an interesting. Tom, you know what? You pick something.
I want to get something that's not in our notes, just because I'm going to catch hell from the people that have been tweeting me all day. Tron came out today, and I expect it to be a complete dismal failure as far as critically and fans. So yeah, I have so many people already asking me to review it, and I haven't seen it yet.
The only things that I've seen, Tom, and before you tell us, I've seen that it's bad. That's all I've heard. I haven't heard one positive thing about it. Now, I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw the original Tron years ago. I don't even remember anything from it, but the reviews that I've seen have been negative. So what have
people
you...
like Me, Daniel Suarez, and we kept talking about war games and Tron, constantly in Vegas. Paul Thurrott, we're all big Tron. A lot of us got into IT because of it, because at the time in '82 or whatever, it was so amazing. Somebody told me the other day, "Oh wow, the special effects are cheesy." Well, yeah, but it wasn't in 1982. You didn't have CGI like that. Black Hole did it. It's a Disney movie, and all that was done post. And if you've seen the making of it, it was just computer wise just phenomenal for its time. It was a box office failure, but no. First time I saw the real full teaser trailer for this movie, I didn't like it. I'm geeking out on the excitement about it because it's a sequel and I have to see it. It's in my geek contract, but I think it looks like a stupid long music video, and I hate movies that are done like that, just like gun shooting for the sake of gun shooting action movie. And yeah, I have heard there's no plot, there's really no point to the story, but yeah, Tron sequel after almost 30 years is out today officially, and I had to mention it. People watching asking me, I haven't seen it yet. Sorry, it's been out for half a day, and I've dropped the ball on that one. I did see, what did I saw? Avatar the day that it came out, and nobody cared. So this one I haven't seen, and I'm being peppered all day with questions about it. I will see it, and I'm expecting it to suck. So if it's anything better than suck, then I'll be happy. And so
I
I'm gonna
don't
let
know.
people know. The game came out last week, I guess it was.
It was never Tron never did it for me. I don't know why. Maybe I was a little bit too young, and by the time I saw it, it wasn't as whopping as you would imagine it to be. But I never really got into it. But I don't go to the movies. I'm not a big movie person. So.
Well, at the time, I mean, I
course
was
not.
learning to program on IBM slave machines, and then shortly after that on Apple IIe was the first one I coded on. And to see anything like that, like wow, computers can create these images on a in a movie. No way, because I'm used to little stick people on the monotone monitors.
Yeah, it's
so,
more fascinating these days to see how far we've come with visual effects generated by a computer.
Well, when Star Wars came out, that was the prime of special effects at
Yeah,
the
they
time.
took
I
a
mean, that was
forward
such a,
These days,
and it's held up, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
think so. But
even
these
they-
days, visual
Hang
effects.
on,
generated
hold
by
on,
a
hold on,
computer
guys.
are everywhere.
Hang on, you guys are talking over each other. Tom, what'd you say?
Oh, I was gonna say when they did the re-release, they went back over it and CGI'd a bunch of stuff, which I thought was fine to begin with, but they felt the need to clean up stuff and put in some more models here and there, CGI ships and stuff. But there was nothing wrong with the originals for me. But when they did the theatrical re-releases, Lucas put his hands all in it. Had to put more
But that's
punch
one
in
of the
every
things that
laser and and all the swords and extra ships, and that was stupid. But yeah, at the time, but that was still not computer generated technically. That was all done in post, laboriously, and amazing modeling with new camera technologies, using actual models and cameras on dollies to do the like scenes with the Death Star. It was amazing at the time, but the actual CGI from Tron was like, whoa, how are those people glowing, and why is that thing, how can you do that? That's not a model. You could tell like the excuse me, I'm choking again. The ships and the tanks, the light cycles, they weren't models. You could tell, but you didn't know what they were. It's just it's hard to describe because you grew up with it being your age,
Yeah.
but at my age it was like, that's not a toy model. That what the heck is making that? So big deal. But I really expect the sequel to suck. So
Yeah.
I'm bummed.
I don't know. I wasn't I was never into Tron. I don't know why. Just never a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me see what else I got here. I got a bunch of stories. I'm gonna pick something from Sunkast stories. Actually, you know what I want to talk about before I go into that because I can't find my notes. Did you guys see this battery story?
The IBM processing.
No. I want to go into the IBM thing, but the U.S. researchers have discovered a cause for lithium-ion battery aging.
No,
I'm surprised this didn't get as much tread as I thought it would. because they're discovering the culprit is a nano-size wire. And there's an issue with, I guess, the way it is, and now they figured out a way to improve them. They're saying this will improve it tremendously, where it won't after a couple of years it doesn't start going away. I think this fine has something directly to do with the fact that General Motors is introducing their electric car, and I put into quotes because it's not truly electric. That's the biggest problem. These lithium-ion batteries and batteries in general have not improved as much as you would imagine over the last 5 years, and that's a major issue.
I agree. Yeah. I don't think they've leaped forward in technology and ability as fast as other technologies have. For instance, like processors and everything, which exponentially are doubling and tripling every time. Lithium-ion, although better than, I guess, NiCad or something, are still kind of a disappointment. There's better ones now, but still, like on a recent photo shoot, I don't like using them. I'd rather use old alkalines than a lot of even the more improved ones.
Sunkast, are you a rechargeable guy?
I used to be, not so much anymore.
You recharge.
Rechargeables, they suck.
Yeah, I mean they're not at the level that they should be.
No,
yeah, see, I've just started using them now. I'm holding up my Energizer. I have 12 of these sitting next to me. Lithium ions, in different brands, because I thought, well, maybe some brands are bad, because I started out with the Rayovacs, and I'm like, well, those are cheap anyway. I'm going to go to Energizer. So I've tried them all for different components that I use for electronics, and they just don't hold up.
The ones I have are nickel metal hydrate, and they're honestly, they're pitiful. I use them for like maybe 2 weeks on my mouse, and then I got to recharge them again, which is why I actually go out and I buy the best lithium-ion batteries I can for my digital camera, because these rechargeables, while it's nice to have rechargeables for a digital camera because you're going to go through so many at the same time, they just don't store enough energy for digital cameras. They're great in devices that don't have a whole lot of energy use.
Yeah. They can't seem to maintain like bursts of energy. Anything needs to be sustained. For a remote, they're tolerable as long as you pop them in a charger every once in a while. But yeah, the NiCads were bad, and then but these aren't even great. Like if I were to use them in my flash for my SLR, I can get maybe 10 pops out of them, and then they'll start to. It takes forever to recharge, and it's annoying.
Sunkast, you want to go into this Google marketplace story?
Yeah, I gotta find that.
Android, yeah.
And see, this is
that's actually a really interesting story. If you're into the Android community. I have a few friends that are big Android people, and all I saw on Twitter was, "What the hell is wrong with the Android marketplace?" I did ... and it still freaking doesn't work. I mean, they tried a new version that they came out that didn't work, so they went back to the old version. The old version still didn't work, and they're just like, "What the crap is going on?"
Well, their marketplace is pitiful. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I have no comment. I have no. Yeah.
I mean, but do you feel that? What can they do to fix this? Because that's the problem on hand. I mean, they can't. They had this new look, but I mean, I don't see it in my marketplace yet.
There's a lot of different things that they're actually doing to try and improve the marketplace. There's so many different things that are actually screwed up in marketplace. One of them, though, is that they're trying to fix this issue that did come up and break a lot of people's marketplace, and that's one of the main issues right now because it's affecting so many people and the fact that it makes it useless. But they're doing other improvements to the marketplace itself, the software that makes it. One of the things that they're doing is that they're going to make it where did this story go? I just lost all my notes. Jeez.
I got it.
Yeah, they're going to try to make it a little bit more like the Apple App Store.
Which is a smart model to follow. I mean, it's successful, right? It's a successful model. It's been working for them.
Yeah.
It's a shame, though. I mean, do they need to copy? I don't know. Maybe somebody will do it better if they stop copying. If anybody copied, maybe they have. I don't know how you improve a store where you buy applications, but
part of it is the organization that you see in marketplace, which I know you've complained about.
Well, I've said it. Yeah, I've said it every week when I go in there, and I'll do it this week too. Let's just see what's here. They've gotten better over time. Like Winamp Player is number 1. Snowfall Full Live Wallpapers number 2 under featured. Flight Tracker, Flick Kickball, Thumb Play. I mean, there's a lot of stupid applications. Like the Best Buy app and the YouTube app are at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, and they're also trying to address some of the developer issues in the sense where there's so many different handsets that have Android on them that have different technical specifications.
Well, see, that's why the Windows Phone has stuck to a certain model. You need to fit a certain criteria to put this device out. Why couldn't Google have done that?
Yeah, what Google is going to try and do right now with the marketplace is set up so that you can actually sort it by screen sizes and different hardware specifications that your device has, so that you can search based on those requirements and what fits your needs. But this still doesn't quite solve the issue at hand of the Android fragmentation that you're not going to see with Windows Phone 7 or the Apple iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, it's still so. I mean, the Droid is an outdated phone now, but you still have devices being put out that are Android 2.0 devices. And what I find funny is a lot of these tablets that are coming out, they don't have the marketplace on them because they're not a Google device. They're not, the official Google device.
Yeah. So is that the point of it? You're saying they're gonna categorize so that you can filter, say, only show me tablet-related applications. Is that what they're trying to accomplish? So that they're all mixed in.
Well, they're gonna have to.
One of the things is they need more organization, more ways to filter the content that you're actually looking for. But I still don't think it fully addresses a lot of the developer concerns out there.
I think what happened when it first came out, so many people started developing easy, stupid apps like wallpapers and clocks. There's 1,000 clocks, 1,000 wallpapers, calendars, and it's taken over.
Go back to the
tic-tac-toe, and it's taken over the entire market. And there are decent applications that you can't find because it might be sorted out.
Even if you can find certain applications, they might not work for your device. Case in point is Rovio's Angry Birds that you love so much.
Yeah.
Has 2 different versions now. They have a beefy version and a light version. Light version is for the devices that have cheaper specifications than some of the higher end Android devices out there that Angry Birds might not be available for.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
An example you make me think of it. Didn't we recently report CVS or some drugstore selling a sub $100 tablet type thingy? That's running an old Android.
Yes, but guess what? That has no marketplace. It only has like 4 apps on there, and that's it. You don't have a marketplace.
Nice. Okay.
You can't. I mean, you could technically get them online and download them like that, but you can't go and go into the Android marketplace and download apps like a normal person. And you're not going to have, Gmail on there. You're not going to have YouTube on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they're getting you with these devices. Yeah, you can put on Android 1.6, but guess what? You're not going to have access to all this stuff.
Okay. So what I was trying to think of is Android. They're trying to do that in the market for those lower models, that older hardware. But if it's not even going to work on those, that's kind of funny.
Let's look at this. Top free apps. Okay.
In Zune, you have it's kind of brain dead simple. They have a phone category, so I know that I don't need to get that because I don't have the Windows Phone 7. I have the Zune. So
I mean, they've gotten a little better, like under top free apps. As more and more people use this, the better apps are going to get pushed up. So
I still think that
it kind of
Apple
sorts
still
it better.
has the standard de facto way of doing an app store right now.
Yeah, well, because there's better developers and there's more control. And first of all, this thing has no games on there. The games are horrible, so you're never going to get that market. But with the iPhone, you'll get the market that wants to play games.
Yeah,
because there's 1,000 great games on there. Little easy games. I'm not saying hard games, but it's easy to put on there and simple to use. It's fascinating how they're doing this. I mean, it's again the early stages of development, and everything is just happening now.
Well, I was looking at iTunes last night, and I've always thought it was kind of ugly, and I've heard that from a lot of people, and it's still ugly.
I hate it.
last night, and I literally had it 2 laptops. I had one running iTunes and one running Zune, or the Microsoft Marketplace, and it's really ugly. Bless them, because they have far like a zillion times more product to get with music and of course the applications. But boy, it's ugly. It's a cryptic, ugly spreadsheet. It's
Yeah.
Zune at least dazzles you with BS. Zune Marketplace even gives you selections for stuff that doesn't exist. Like a year or so ago, when I was scrolling through there, and I was seeing all these really obscure Queen titles I'd never owned, and I fancy myself having all of them. But I'm like, wow, that's really cool, but like they weren't available. So it would show you and then say, not available.
That's weird.
Well, why are you showing it to me? That's stupid.
Yeah.
So
let's go
None of 'em.
into the Gawker incident.
Yes, that
this-
is huge
huge.
news. So
Um,
many people are upset and just freaked out by that.
So Gawker, there was a hack, and passwords have been compromised and I believe it's on Gizmodo, Lifehacker.
It's the end of the world, Armageddon.
What
Our
else does
passwords have been
Gawker?
hacked.
What else does Gawker own? Gizmodo and Lifehacker and
They own, let's see, Gawker, Deadspin, Kotaku, Jezebel, 109, Jello Spins, or something like that.
Valleywag. Yeah, they own CityFile.
Lifehacker.
They own a lot of sites.
Yeah, they own I'm sure they even have more than just that I've seen listed on Lifehacker right now.
And is Gawker the father company, or there's another one above them?
Gawker is the parent company.
And they're New York, so I mean, yeah, parent company. Why did I see father company? And they're in New York too, so
that's still irrelevant. Yeah.
at this point, this is the most fascinating thing. Now, you would imagine that the users of this website are tech-savvy people.
Oh, yeah.
Gizmodo and
wouldn't.
Lifehacker, and you would imagine they are.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, because Tom doesn't like them.
Nobody's
It's like the TMZ of tech. Yeah.
Well, no, Lifehacker's a great site.
Lifehacker, yeah, but it's not a tech site. Well, I mean, because they have like really cool like office setups and how to fix it, how to make a kite out of
They have good
cotton balls.
information on Lifehacker.
No, I like Lifehacker. I can't say anything bad
I
about
love
them.
Lifehacker.
I'm
No,
not.
good
I'm not
grief.
that crazy about Gizmodo.
But I don't go there for tech.
No, but you would imagine people know what they're doing when they go to this site. I mean, someplace like Lifehacker and Gizmodo, it's not the regular mass public, and the average soccer mom again is not going to Lifehacker.
Right.
They don't really care for it. I was so surprised to see the password selection of these people.
I
'Cause-
love it when companies come out and give a list. We saw this a couple years ago, I think, with Hotmail. Somebody listed a bunch of common passwords. Of
See, like if
Hotmail.
this was a Google compromise and the password, number one password is 1234556, you would say, okay, you know what? Most people are idiots. The number one password for Gawker Media is 123456.
Listen, part of kitty hacking. Kitty hacking is so simple. All you do is you take somebody's stupid username, plug it in, and see if 123456 or password or some combination of those simple passwords actually work. That is the simplest kitty hacking that's out there.
But see,
And
this is what I was thinking. Most people really don't care what their password for Gawker is. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and
Like
that's
it's
the
not
other
it's
thing.
not like it's not like their bank. So, and you would say, yeah, I'm surprised that it's a tech group of people that might know something about technology, and the number one used password is 123456. But most people really don't care what their password for Gawker is. I mean, Tom, for every site that you go to, do you put in a complicated password?
Me? Yeah.
You do,
Yeah,
okay.
but
Which I
you-
do also.
No, I
mean,
totally agree with your point, though. A Gawker, why do you need a fancy one? This isn't your email or anything
Yeah.
that could be confidential or private. It's Gawker, which to get a lot of websites, to get full articles or deeper into the site, you have to have an account, which are free, but you have to have one. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that somebody has, an account with a really idiot-proof password, because what are they going to lose? If somebody gets into their account on a Gawker type. So
God, Tom knows the password to our router here, and how complicated is that thing?
yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
And that's how I do all my passwords, and I remember it, and I'm the only, and they mean nothing. It's just total weird numbers and signs, and I just do it to
I
the
show
point
up
where
and I
I'm,
hand my Asus to Andrew, and I'm like, I need to get on now. And
I just think it's so
I don't
funny
even try.
how common some of these passwords are.
Well, let's go
across
down the list.
Different websites.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Password.
I had to be careful because some of these, I've worked for companies where these are the default.
The
when we set up
defaults.
new
Yeah, I
accounts.
have also.
So I can't.
Life
Oh, we've-
hacker.
We've all had somebody that we've known has a simple password like this.
Yeah, but
Cordy.
if you trace where I've worked and go, yeah.
Cordy's another one. ABC 1, 2, 3 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Monkey. Why monkey? Why do so many people
People are
have?
obsessed with monkey. I know 3 geeky friends that use monkey as part of
This
their
is why I
name.
think it's so fascinating that people actually use these simple, stupid, asinine.
But okay, but
simple,
you know
common
what?
Words.
Why monkey? You know what I mean? Like monkey is a strange
It's
word.
a funny word. I mean, I call my dog monkey. I call my daughter monkey. I called her monkey a little while ago. It's funny, cute, but it's overused now to the point. I don't know why, but I do have 3 geeky friends that have usernames with monkey in their
Zero.
name, and they don't live in each other.
Oh
they
my
don't know each
God.
other.
The
and
next
they're all
one
like
is consumer.
cyber monkey.
Consumer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 0
That one's my favorite. 0.
0. What's the other
Zero.
one? Let mine.
That shouldn't be allowed.
What is let mine? LETME.
Let me in.
Let me in.
Oh, let me in.
And the other one is trust no
Trust
one.
no one, which is
from
kinda witty.
X-Files.
Which is kind of witty. Dragon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Baseball. Superman. I love you. Gizmodo. Sunshine 1, 2, 3, 4. Princess. Star Wars. Whatever. Shadow. Cheese. Cheese. FU is my
these.
FU is a great one. Password with an O. Master. Soccer. Michael.
You came with a
Jennifer.
0.
Jordan.
Now, password, the password entry just is password with a capital P. There's a couple of passwords on
Yeah.
this list. Yeah, capital P, that's...
Pokemon. Pokemon.
Now, Michelle being on the list as far as being popular or, like more than one person use it, that's odd.
And Jennifer,
know.
like, do you
Why
think
not
they're
John or,
Yeah, like I wonder if Jennifer is a popular name amongst like Gizmodo
There's
users.
Michael, Jennifer, Jordan, Michelle, and I think a couple others on there that are.
Pepper, Killer, Batman, Internet. God, people are stupid.
Now, one thing that when I read this earlier, I mean, this is a great story Sunkast put in here. When I read this earlier, what I think a lot of this is an algorithm to access the site to further fish. In other words, hackers, I think, have created this account, and they're spam botting. So they'll create like, my username is Andrew. My password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're doing that 1,000 times so that they can gain access to do whatever. They can further dig and get user account information so that they can spam actual users. So,
but isn't
when I
there like
see
a
weird
kill
ones like
switch
that-
now? I mean, isn't there like a kill switch where after 5 times you try to do it, you can't get the password anymore? So how are they doing this so many times to get these passwords?
No, if you write a
Proxies.
bot script and to say go to Gawker, create an account, and
it's so
you have
easy.
a dictionary. Yeah, you have
I'll be honest. I used
individual.
to do that with Yahoo. I was a bit of a Yahoo kind of hacker. I was a boot guy. I had scripts. I had programs. All you do is it's so easy to write a program where you can have a text file that lists a bunch of sock proxies, and you just select that as your proxy list for this program. It'll go through each proxy and use that as the internet address as what you're coming from
Yeah,
instead of what you're actually using. That's how you get around something like that.
fascinating. It's
Yeah, so
really,
I had to wonder when
It's
I see
all
someone like
automated. You
Michelle.
just load up the list of proxies.
Yeah.
I'm. By the way, let's go to the next story. I have been picked at Times Man of the Year.
Yes,
You
that was,
have.
no surprise there.
Times Magazine.
You and
Time of the
Obama
Year.
have been on the cover
King
more
of
than
new
anybody I know.
media.
Yeah, Barack Obama than me. Hitler was
Yep.
once on the cover too.
Yeah. And
It
it's
just
not
goes to show
great
you the
man of the year, it's just
ludicrousy
man
of
of the
this
year. So
magazine
you're
if
in
they
your
put
case,
you
it's not
on there.
great man.
Hang on.
It's just
You guys are talking over each other. I think we're having bandwidth issues where you guys don't hear each other.
I can hear him, but he's just so broken up.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with the with you guys, but I don't know. I just find it fascinating that they're able to do this. What does this mean for Gawker now? Like, what do you do when something like this happens? When a vulnerability like this is exposed and there's been a breach, what do you do? Tom, since you work for security companies and you have a background in this. What do you do as a company?
I'd be real ticked off. Hackers are doing. I mean, hackers doing it to every company out there. So Gawker, them getting a story out of it, or somebody doing a story about Gawker doing it. It's kind of. I wonder why Gawker, because everybody's getting that. And it's hackers that got it. So if you're a Gawker user and you see anything like this, then or Lifehack or any of the related sites, you gotta kind of clinch up for a second and think, okay, well, if it's that easy for them to find out who's logging in and what passwords they're using, what else can they backtrace to me? So it's.
I think this. Sorry, I'm
go
interrupting you.
No, go ahead.
I've
go
got
ahead.
all these thoughts,
I gotta break my throat.
No, go ahead.
What this I think kind of demonstrates is that you kind of have the mindset today of your information. If you're on the internet, you just got to go bear in mind that there's a very real chance that your information is going to get into the hands of hackers. That's just the way it is these days. Your company can be hacked so easily. So many companies, we've seen it so many times between the distributed denial of service and the actual leaking of data where somebody comes in and breaches the data. It's happened so many times this year alone that you really do have to have the mindset that your information, regardless of what you want, as far as privacy goes, you got to know that it's pretty much bound to happen to you.
Yeah.
You really got to protect yourself. You got to protect yourself, but then at the same time, as a company, you got to have the mindset that it's probably going to happen, that you're going to get hacked.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's period. So all these sites, and again, another good reason to not have a good password. It's probably smarter if I didn't use more cryptic ones, because if they can glean that I used a really cryptic one, they can say, hey, well, maybe he uses it to log into such and such and try it there. So backtrace with the password names. Getting the usernames is easy. But I'm not surprised. We did do a story several months ago about most common passwords, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was, I think, the number one. And unfortunately, I've worked with companies that did use very idiot passwords as the default for new
At the
users,
company,
and
the last company I worked
never
for,
change them.
The last company I was working for was like that. They had like one. What was it? God, it was like password 1. And that was complicated. Nobody
No
could
comment.
freaking. And it was password 1 for everything. The logins, the email addresses, a bunch of passwords.
Yeah,
I mean everything.
It's horrible. It's a really bad IT business practice.
You can't come up with anything more creative than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And
6
I was the
passwords.
IT guy, and I said we need to change this, and they said, "What are you, crazy? Absolutely not. We can't do that."
And I know this is possible because I've worked in companies with, one of the most recent ones, 28,000 users. It is doable, but the way to do it is to have somebody, an IT person, physically log the user in for the first time. Okay, I'm going to put you in as this password, and I'm going to turn my back and you change it while I'm standing here. Don't just issue a password over the phone to somebody that everybody in the company's issued. That's a really bad IT practice, and any sysadmin doing that should be fired.
But Tom, we only have 45 people working here. Nobody's going to steal each other's stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing to take.
Yeah.
What are they going to take?
What are you going to take?
Everything.
And that was the biggest problem. But let's do our picks of the week, guys.
Okay.
Sunkast, you go first.
Oh, you making me go first this time? Jeez. All right. So
Yeah,
now I
'cause you
got to
whipped
choose.
that
I
out
got so
before I
many
had my
in my
list
head
up.
that I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and go with Microsoft's Security Essentials. I know Tom has talked about it several times.
You stole it, huh?
You stole right out of my
You want me to do
stocking.
another one?
You read.
I can do another one if you want.
No, I have a backup. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. They came out with version 2.0 today that has several improvements on it. One of the improvements is a new heuristic scanning engine. It also does network traffic inspection and has more integration with the Windows firewall, which just totally beefs up this awesome security suite that you can do for antivirus, anti-malware kind of stuff. It's probably one of the best free one you can get if you're a Windows user.
Excellent. Tom, how about you?
I do. Yeah, I do agree. I did have that one. It actually wasn't my first choice, but I was going to try to slip it in because I mentioned it on What the Tech Wednesday night, Security Essentials. It's really good, and it was updated today. So I'm going to actually alter a pick because I just noticed a lot of things have just been updated this week. So a lot of programs we already use just have updates, and I want to remind people because I was talking to a client today who I found out is like 6 versions of iTunes old. So I'm supposed to, help them with something. And I said, is it current? And he's like, what do you mean? And we went back and forth. Is it updated? I don't know. And I had him read it. It's like, wow, that hadn't been out in like a year and a half. So just today, Dropbox was updated, Google Chrome, and Security Essentials that Sunkast mentioned. Also, there have been recent updates to VLC Player, which I love for, as an alternative to a lot of players like QuickTime, which I can't stand. And CC Cleaner. iTunes had its update, as I mentioned.
Opera 11.
Opera 11. And a few file sharing ones I won't mention, like FrostWire, but Skype has an update.
Don't do it, by the way. Don't do the Skype update.
Yeah. Don't say as I do, not as I do.
Yeah. Don't do the Skype update. I'm staying far away from 5.0.
OpenOffice, and also something I haven't used in years, which when I saw that had been updated, I'm like, wow, people still use it. But it's called View. It's a really bare bones photo viewing thing. That's been updated very recently as well. So I saw all these kind of peppered as being updated recently. And I thought, well, you know what? I'll just cover a lot of bases, not with anything new or great, but just reminder stuff like Chrome and Dropbox, which a lot of us use, update, except for Skype. Andrew says no.
Yeah, don't do the Skype. My pick is a Android app, and it's called Swift Key. I have the trial here. You can get the trial and try it out. It's a different keyboard. If you're tired of your Android keyboard, this is a really, really, really good alternative to the Android keyboard. It's just a nice feel, and it's really accurate, and I really like it. So Swift Key. You could try it for free. That's it. Mine is short. Awesome. I have nothing else to say.
Yeah. So we didn't even get to half the stuff that I wanted to talk about today because there's so much.
I know. Well, we have next week too. We have so much.
Yeah, you've got a lot of like year-end stuff, and that would be cool to do at year-end.
Yeah, we could definitely use all that stuff next week. So next week it's going to be Christmas, right?
The day before Christmas.
It's Christmas Eve.
I think it's next Friday.
Okay, so it's Christmas Eve next Friday.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to be doing a show or not. What are you guys doing?
No, we can figure it out.
We'll figure it out next week, but I definitely want to have a replacement date, and I'll have it posted on our website at Guys from Queens, or most probably on our Twitter and on our Facebook. It should be all over the place if we do a replacement day. But also remember to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/guysfromqueens. Follow me at facebook.com/Andrew Zarian. Say hi. Also on Twitter, twitter.com/GFQ Network. Remember to subscribe to us on iTunes, on Zune very, very soon, and everywhere else you can imagine. Everything is on our website, guysfromqueens.com. And we'll see you all next week. Good night, everyone.